A short hike is a game where there's a lot of world building. The objective is to hike to the highest peak on the mountain you are visiting for the summer, but the way you get there is up to you. It's a game about freedom, it's a game about progression. The movement is cleverly intertwined with the progression that it's hard to talk about one without the other. But basically you start off with no way to hike up the mountain, no climbing, no running, or jumping. Through exploration and progression you find more golden feathers, which are extra jumps in the game, which make it so you can explore better and find even more golden feathers. It's this great cycle of finding new golden feathers, exploring, then reaching higher in the mountain. It feels rewarding once you get a new golden feather. You can just barely make a climb that you failed previously without the new golden feather. Later on, once you get more golden feathers, you can play in style on the other hikers, flying by at like 1,000,000 miles per hour with a dive. Ironically, in real life, if you give penguins more feathers, it actually doesn't make it so they can fly.
Super Mario in real life.
The progression is smooth enough that it goes from fast-paced climbing to peacefully enjoying the view. A short hike really lets you go at your own pace. This fits the theme of the game, from knowing nothing about hiking or the mountain to bit by bit getting better. Graphics are another thing that works for the game's theme. The game has these pixelated models that at first glance could look like a 2D game, but then the camera changes and it's like this mind-blowing moment. The graphics sometimes feel as though you're playing an old 3D polygon game, with some of the mountains and rocks being more polygon shaped, which I think is a big upside. It doesn't play off of nostalgic graphics, but you can definitely sense the inspiration. There are moments, thanks to the binoculars scattered around the mountain, that are an opportunity to pause and enjoy how far you have come up the mountain. The sense of progression is never lost with the visuals or the gameplay. You go from beach to forest to graveyard to beautiful flowing rivers to icy sky. You can always fly down and see the past environments that you have been in. When you look down, it's like, oh, I remember this place. I'm so much more higher than I was, kind of a moment. There are a lot of little details to admire as you progress, too. I like the state park signs that have notes on them for you to read, or the little rest areas with tiny little ponds for you to fish in or take a bath in. All around, the visuals have these small details that make the mountain feel like it's actually a place where people live. The pixels are put into some of the best areas in this game, like in the rivers. I didn't even notice at first, but the river splashes water when coming to a drop-off, or how each time you use a golden feather, a feather falls behind you with this drifting motion. The pixel art is in some of the small, precise places that make it fun to find. A short hike sound design is one of those soundtracks that you don't even notice on your first playthrough, because it's so in tune with the surroundings that you don't even notice it. It's when you go back to the places you've been before that you notice how adaptive the music is from place to place. This is done through the background music taking breaks in between certain places, so you can just enjoy the sound of what's around you in the wild, before it changes again with a new area to strike a different mood for the player. The music didn't really hit me till I got to the top of the mountain. The music hits you with this sad, triumphant music. It gave me a huge sense of accomplishment, but it was also sad that the hike was over. For the most part, the sound design is fun, with hikers sounding like mixed up scratches of what real animals sound like, or the flower jumps sounding so satisfying to get a boost higher up. Same thing with the golden feathers. That slight whoosh of a golden feather just got more satisfying after playing. Some of the problems I had with the game were a part of the open world aspect, because even though it was well put together in a lot of places and flows so you can choose your own path to getting golden feathers, some of those paths aren't as good as others, such as if you go to the right at the start, there aren't as many quests or golden feathers that you can find. There is content over there, but not as much as if you go up the mountain on the main path. Like my idiot brain when I got my first quest to get 15 seashells for this penguin girl. This penguin girl is probably stupid stupider and more annoying than the shells she's collecting. I spent all my time at the start going all the way around the mountain trying to find 15 seashells for her just to say that she wouldn't give me anything, and I had to pick up my golden feather from my aunt. Just for one golden feather, I went all the way around the mountain when I could have kept exploring up the mountain to find 5 more easier golden feathers. Exploring in the early game is pretty hard too, which I like, but I wasted all that time with not much exploring ability because I thought it would give me something better. So keep that in mind, that although the game lets you have a lot of freedom, you can't go everywhere while still being able to progress. I wish it had more insight on where you should go early on, like a sign that specifically tells you, hey Dunderhead, go this way to start off. A Short Hike is a rare game where once I got into it, I didn't feel bored while playing at all. You could probably beat the game in an hour, and it only takes about 3 hours to do all the content if you know where to look. It's only $8 on Steam and about $5 during a Steam sale, so I would definitely recommend picking it up if you haven't already. It's a great game to finish in a day. While playing, it felt like I was in nature and could appreciate all the details. I haven't played a game that lets you look back on your progress in such a positive way and lets you do what quests you want to do when you want to do them. A lot of other open world games have you on a set track of quests that you have to take in order to complete that path. In A Short Hike, you don't have that pressure. You can change from area to area with ease and be greeted with a different set of quests, different hikers, and scenery. With each time you get a golden feather, it gets easier to go to different locations, but it all works towards you getting to the top of the mountain. Climbing and running, swimming and hiking, flying and diving, there is so much packed into your hike in A Short Hike.